Good morning, free thinkers. Happy Saturday to you. Didn't have time to have breakfast. I stayed up late watching Ozark. I think 3 episodes of Ozark, which I have not watched a series. I think the last time I watched any series of anything was Breaking Bad, which I thoroughly enjoyed, which I think is a tough one to beat. Sopranos was tough to beat. Breaking Bad, that was tough to beat. So they raised the bar for a lot of things. Anyways, I stayed up late, and late for me is 11 o'clock. Got up at 7, so I still got my 8 hours of sleep. Rushing around, feeding animals, and then breakfast. So breakfast is on my way to work. I don't have time today for meal number 2. I'm not saying, I got to stop saying breakfast, lunch, dinner. I'm going to start saying meal 1, meal 2, because I'm a 2-meal-a-day guy. Carnivore pucks. I made these out of beef and bison tallow and a little bit of salt. So I'm going to have a couple of these with a bottle of water. And I'm psyched. I'm psyched. So let's see here. I put them in a big prescription jar. They just fit so perfectly. They stick together. All right, this is a carnivore puck. That's beef in there that I dried in my dryer, the food dehydrator. Put it in the blender, almost brought it down to dust. And that does not have to be a fancy cut of beef. It can be the cheapest, fattiest, on sale thing that you can get at the store. And put it in your food dehydrator, dehydrate it. Over dehydrate it. When it's done, so it's crispy, like potato chip crispy. And then you take all the beef, put it in the blender, reduce it down to meat dust, and then I put it in a pan on the stove with bison tallow, which under room temperature is firm. There's not a lot of fats that are really firm at room temperature. Bison tallow is. So when you mix the meat dust with bison tallow and stick it into a mold, when it dries, it becomes literally it's a hard puck, but not hard enough where you can't bite it. So 2 or 3 of these and a bottle of water is breakfast for me today. It's breakfast on the go. Meal number 2 today for me is going to be beef heart that has been marinating for 2 days, and calf's liver. Half of that is going to be cooked on a stick food. You know, like when you travel abroad, there's vendors in the streets with various mystery meats on sticks. So the beef heart and the liver will be on skewers today. The rest will be grilled. And then what makes that stuff interesting is the various garnishes or sauces that you dip. So I'm not eating vegetables, so to speak. I'm not having a plate of vegetables. I will be sharing my weight with you, my measurements, my progress as I go along for my summer shred. This is what, Thursday? So this is day number 3 of a 10-day summer shred. It can be done. Was I hungry last night? Hell yeah, man. I wanted to devour a bag of kettle chips and a pint of Haagen-Dazs. That's my downfall right there. Those 2 things, literally. And I'm not talking about like a bowl, put some chips in a bowl. I will eat a whole bag of chips. And I don't scoop out ice cream into a bowl. I eat it right from the carton, and I just devour the whole thing. But I didn't do that last night, and I'm happy. And my late night snack was some ham rolled up with a piece of Munster cheese. And I'm really trying to go easy on the cheese. Trying to go easy on the dairy during the 10-day summer shred. Had black coffee this morning. That was wonderful with a little bit of honey, and I'm good. So let's do the carnivore puck. It has the consistency of a crunchy candy bar, you know, that has like nuts in it. This is why I like dehydrating the beef to the point where it's not just pliable, but where it snaps like a potato chip. Excellent. Redmond salt in it, which has tons of trace minerals. 2 or 3 of these things is breakfast for me. Or I'm trying to talk myself out of breakfast, using the word breakfast. Meal number 1. Meal number 2 is going to be the beef heart and the liver. Tomorrow is going to have shredded beef. Half of it will be segz with lime juice. The other half will be cooked in ghee in a pan. I literally like to split the beef pack between raw beef and cooked beef. And then meal number 2 for tomorrow, I found a ribeye in my freezer that's still under code. I will probably cook that, believe it or not, in the slow cooker. It's a weird way. I'll season the living daylights out of it. I'll cook it for 6 hours in the slow cooker, and it's going to be magnificent. It's going to be salt, pepper, onions, garlic. So when I eat beef out of the slow cooker, it's 100% edible. Nothing gets thrown away, like nothing. The fat melts like butter. It's wonderful. So those are my meals. I'm going to do a video on a risky video for you, which I never ever strip down to just, you know, a bathing suit kind of thing. You don't see me doing that. But I'm going to do that in the sense that it's going to be slightly embarrassing for me because of the soft midsection. And I'm going to show you. Now I started measuring, not just stepping on the scale, but literally measuring the belly. And boy, was that a letdown today. That was depressing. Putting a tape measure around my belly at belly button level. I think I was like at about a 39 or a 40. Not real happy with that at all. That's the belly. Now the waist, here's the wild thing. My waist is 34 inches. Okay? Which means when I have pants, and my jeans right now are 34. They fit perfect. But guess what? That extra 10 inches around my midsection is kind of like a, what do they call that? A muffin top or something like that? Where you just kind of get that fat around the belly button, or a spare tire or love handles or something like that. So probably one of the reasons why I put on weight the way that I do over the winter. It's kind of like my winter weight, kind of like the freshman 15, as they say, is comfort food. It was a cold, long winter, and I ate a lot of macaroni and cheese. I did not have a lot of alcohol. Usually during the winter I have a lot of wine. I did not have a lot of wine. I think I had 2 bottles of wine over the 6 months of fall and winter, which is nothing. What else did I indulge in? I've had ice cream maybe 3 times in 6 months, cold weather. What else? No sex. I'm not sexually active. So that's certainly, if you're not humping and pumping, so to speak, if you are not in a marriage, for those of you, I want to say marriage. I don't want to just say having a girlfriend that you're pumping and dumping. Pumping and pumping and dumping. I don't have a woman like that in my life. I'm not married, and so I'm not having sex right now. And sex is a magnificent, it's going to sound weird, sex is a magnificent weight loss tool, but am I just going to go out and find someone to recreationally have sex with and lose weight? No. Have I done that in the past? Yeah. First one to admit it. But what I don't want to be is a serial revolving door kind of guy, and the sexual revolving door. I don't want to do that. So without regular sexual activity, which my libido is always high, my family, the men in my family have high libido. In other words, sex is not something that we say goodbye to in our 50s, 60s, and 70s. I can achieve and maintain with 0 issues, and I'm healthy enough to, have a hour-long sex session. Is that TMI? But I'm speaking to the men here. This is not a braggadocious channel. This is a channel of truth. So some men will relate to it, some men won't. For guys that are married, for guys that are having sex, doing this particular nutritional plan will make you want to have more sex. And just make sure your woman wants that as well. You might end up tiring her out. I have a feeling that if I was married right now and there was a woman in my life, I'm the kind of guy who wants it every day, like every day. It doesn't have to be an hour long every day, but I want it every day. I believe all organs are meant to be used. Like your kidneys never take a day off, your liver doesn't take a day off, your heart doesn't take a day off. And I don't want my sex organs to take a day off. And I really believe that if you don't use it, you lose it. So that's been a very difficult thing for me. God has given me the grace and peace to kind of hold that back. Although the gorilla is in the back seat and not in the driver's seat. My sex drive does not control my life. My sex drive does not make me go out at night. Everyone who knows me, you've seen my broadcasts. Fridays and Saturday nights when the average guy is out and about with a girlfriend or a wife, I'm in doing a live broadcast. And I'm okay with that. Like I said, God has given me grace and peace. And, the woman I meet will have grace and peace as well. But be ready for the tiger when he comes out of the cage. So this is either training for great sex in a future relationship or marriage. Future marriage, I should say, because I really don't want to I don't want to spend my older years just illicitly fucking. I don't want to do that. And I feel good. And I have 0 guilt. So Carnivore puck is, I'm telling you, it's filling. 2 of them is going to keep me going until meal 2. And you saw the way that I package them. I make them in a silicone mold that I got from Michael's Arts and Crafts. It's like a candy mold. And this is like eating a steak with salt on it. That's exactly what it tastes like. I always keep some carnivore pucks in my hair cutting bag that I'm bringing with me to the salon. And you can't eat these fast either because there's a lot of fat in them. It's not gross. Don't think fat is gross. This is really good. This is tallow. Alright, so there's one. Bottle of water. This will be gone by the time I get to work. The reason why I use bison tallow is because at room temperature it's very hard. Hard like a hard stick of butter. Whereas beef tallow, duck fat is all very soft. Mayonnaise, soft. Duck fat is almost like a thick liquid. Lard is good, but I'd rather have bison tallow because it's very beef-ish in flavor. I have to stop at the Spanish store today and get some Goya chicharrones, which is pork fat with the skin on. It's much more satisfying than just regular pork rinds. Think about that. If you can find the pork rinds with skin on, they're more satisfying, a more satisfying crunch. Like you have to bite harder, you know, because you're getting through the skin. All right, one more puck, carnivore puck. You can see it. It's small, but it's so filling. Literally, I feel like I already had half of a breakfast. Energy. Mental acuity. Turn the heat down. It's hot here already. High protein. The water creates clarity, like unreal clarity. I had a small cup of black coffee this morning. Instant coffee. It was Starbucks instant coffee. You know, small glass in my Hardee's Rise and Shine mug, which is just the right amount of coffee. You really have to chew these things. Take a swig of water. This is not difficult. I'm not like, what I'm not doing is like forcing myself to swallow this, like, you know how some people like with raw eggs are like, this is not like that. This is actually, I mean, it's good. I feel like I'm eating a mini steak. I have to fix the steering wheel, the linkage. Hear that? If someone knows how to do that, I'll pay you to fix it. Hear that? Because there's a new frame on the Toyota Tacoma. There was a frame recall and they replaced my entire frame. Literally lifted the chassis right off the frame. Everything. But I don't think that everything in the steering linkage got tightened. So if you have those skills, I will pay you to fix that, because every time I come to a red light or I'm idling, I get this steering linkage rattle. And it drives me crazy. Here, watch this. Watch. Hear it? So if you have those skills, let me know. I'm also looking for an app developer to go 50-50 with. If you have an invention, if you have an app, let's be business partners. Bounce your ideas off of me. I know how to find capital, or I will find capital. I will fund it myself. But let's do it, man. Let's. This is a community that's dynamic. This isn't just one-way information. This is hardcore two-way shit. All right, I'm at work. 21 minutes. That's cool. I like to park in the back so I don't take any parking spaces from customers. That's just how I roll. Just write me if you have a business idea. If you have the idea, I will fund it. If you want to go 50-50 on something like an app, 50-50 profit share, let's do it. You have an idea for an event? Let's do it. Let's do it. Finish this water. All right, so here we go. I had two pucks. There's two left in here. And go back in here. And they will be kind of like a breakfast. See, I gotta stop using the phrase breakfast, the word breakfast. They make a great meal number one. Think in terms of meal number one, meal number two. Weight's gonna fly off if you do 2 meals a day, obviously 1 meal a day, but I find myself freaking starving when I'm doing OMAD. TMAD, different story. And if I snack literally on beef jerky, a hard-boiled egg or something like that. All right, off to work. I'll talk to you soon. Yeah. And I'll talk to you later.